Right. Hello and welcome to the annual general meeting of the New York chapter of Mystery Writers of America. We have most of the board here. A couple of them are traveling. I'm going to introduce us all in sequence. We'll all, jump in. Hello, Nancy. I see a lot of familiar faces. Thank you for joining. Many of you guys have been mentors for our mentor program, so I want to thank you for that. Mark is running the program. He's here with us. Wonderful. I think we have a full contingent. We'll probably get a few more people, but let's get going here. So welcome to our annual meeting. We're going to try to keep it to an hour and a quarter. That's my little wiggle room there. And yes, we will take questions, put them in the chat. Feel free to jot them down at any time during the meeting, and then I'll ask someone from the board to help me curate them. Maybe Daniela, will you do that? I know a few of the other folks have to leave. So if you could just keep an eye on the chat and then remind me for the Q&A, because I always forget something, you know that.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, so yeah, so what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to go through the board and introduce ourselves. I see a couple of folks are missing. I see David. I don't see Russ yet. Am I missing him? No. But anyway, as they join, they will introduce themselves. We'll keep it pretty short. And then we're going to go into a few slides to tell you what we have planned for the year. So that's our plan. I see Al. I'm going to pin you too. Al is our past president. And this is a good moment to say thank you because he has been helping me get acclimated to my role this year. Thank you, Al.
Pleasure.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go first with introductions. I'm Nev March. I have 3 books out. I'm writing the 4th. And what do I write? I write historical mysteries. Well, it started out that they were set in India, but then, of course, the characters took over, and in book 2 and 3, we went all over the world. So this is the latest, book 3, The Spanish Diplomat's Secret, where the book is actually set on a steamship. And in book 4, my characters go back to India. So it's been a lot of fun, but also a little scary. Any book, as you get ready to delivery, is a little scary, as you writers know. But we are so excited this year to bring you a lot of interesting programming. We're building on the work that Al did. He pitched in during the time that we had, no meetings allowed at one point. So we went to an online version and then a hybrid version. And I see Gary. I'm going to pin him so I can find him. Hello, Gary. He has been a couple of years now doing our programming. So did it not work? Add pin. Yes. Hooray. I see you. Great. That is me. And I did flash the cover of my book. And I'm going to hand over to Beth, who wants to go next. So Elizabeth Mannion, tell us about yourself and a little bit about your book and a little bit about what you're in charge of.
Well, first, I'm really sorry that I can't stay for the whole meeting. I'm on a deadline tonight, actually, for my new book, which is separate from what I usually write on theater and Irish crime fiction. This book is on the great sci-fi writer Samuel R. Delany, and really a labor of love for Chip, between myself and my 3 editing partners. And we've got to get this thing out by midnight tonight, so apologies. I am on the board for the first time, and I am going to be your liaison for book festivals and book fairs. If you look in the chat, you'll see 3 that I recommend you put on your calendar if you live anywhere near these places. Either I've personally been a part of them or I know people who have, and they all get a wonderful, enthusiastic group of people coming to meet authors. The chapter's already booked for the Brooklyn Book Festival, so we'll be back there for the first time in 2 years. The Harlem Book Fair, I'm having a little hard time with the application because they want a whole list of writers, which of course is almost impossible for us to do this far in advance. So I'm trying to work my way around that. But if and when we book a table there, you'll certainly, be made aware of that. And the Collingswood Book Festival, we haven't booked yet, simply because of logistics and time. And having to bring our own table and a few other things like that. But I'm optimistic we'll be able to book that one. I know we have a lot of members in South Jersey and the Philly area. So anyway, there's a few dates to put on your calendar. And if you know of any festivals upcoming that, or, in the year ahead, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. If you would put them in the chat for me so I can grab them, especially any that you personally are either interested in attending for the first time or that you have attended. That would be great. And I look forward to working with you all this year.
Thank you. Awesome. Wonderful. So I'm just going to go in the order that you appear on my screen, which is totally random. Doug, you're up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Doug Harrell. I am not a pirate. Yeah, I was telling them earlier I had cataract surgery this morning. So anyway, I'm a retired chemical engineer. Well, I'm not retired. I'm a full-time writer. It's much more flexible hours, but it doesn't pay yet. And as far as writing, I've written, I used to edit a newsletter put out by the National Kidney Foundation for organ and tissue donors. And I've published some short stories in local anthologies set at the Delaware beaches. And for those of you who might be sisters in crime guppies, I write a mystery and history column for their newsletter. Anyway, I just finished my first novel. The Secret Lindbergh Notebook is the working title. And my protagonist investigates new evidence that surfaces in the Lindbergh kidnapping trial. If you don't have a lot of time, don't ask me about it because I have a hard time containing myself. Anyway, I am the newsletter editor this year, newly on the board. And as far as changes for this year, we want to put it out monthly. So you'll see we're starting to put it out monthly with a focus on having a list of events so that it's news you can use. What's going on in the chapter, other things that we get wind of, the book fairs and library events that Elizabeth was telling you about. And then we also want to add some content that's like advice for newer writers. We're calling it tentatively Pro Tip. So Nev had one in the first newsletter we put out in, I think, March. And then this should be kind of fun. Somebody had the great idea. We need an advice column, and we're calling it Ask Edgar. So we're encouraging members who have a question that they want to ask Edgar. And I guess I'm standing in for Edgar. I will go find an Edgar who can answer the question for the person. But anyway, I'm real happy to be on the board and working on the newsletter and part of this organization.
Wonderful. Thank you, Doug. Let me go next to Mark, who's running our mentor program. You need to unmute, Mark.
He's also trying to chat here real quick just to let people know about the Flemington Book Festival. Anyways, I'm Mark McNeese, and I've been writing all my life. I am, as a mystery writer, thriller writer, horror writer, I have the Maggie Dahl Mysteries, DAHL, Maggie Dahl Mysteries, set in Lambertville. All of my characters moved to Lambertville when I did. Very strange. I have the Kyle Callahan Mysteries, that's been going for 12 years, trying to write another one. And then I also write supernatural and horror, and I have this is a 2-volume book, House in the Woods and House in the Woods 2. I live in rural New Jersey. I lived in New York City for 25 years, and then before we moved out here. And I am doing in the process of chairing the mentoring program, which is going quite nicely. From what I can tell, it's the deadline is May 1st for all you mentors. I've gotten a lot of critiques back and forwarded them onto the authors, but that's the situation. That's me.
Thank you.
I'm also probably not going to be on for the whole thing because I've been really sick the last couple of days, but I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for coming. I know you were a little bit under the weather, so thank you for joining anyways. And yeah, just leave when you need to. Feel better soon, okay? Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to ask Gary to talk about programming. Gary's our stalwart. He has been on the previous board, and he's keeping our programming very lively this year.
Hi, my name is Gary. I'm a wordaholic. Been writing since the age of 10. And I was a full-time English professor. I have retired from that, and I'm not a full-time writer. Discovered that the more I climb into my 70s, the less full-time writing I do. So at this point, I'm a part-time writer. I have a lot of short stories out. I've had about 11 plays produced and about 5 novels. 4 of the novels are in a mystery series with an Iraq War veteran who's kind of like my son, who is a private investigator in Buffalo, which is also called the Nickel City because of the buffalo head or the bison head nickel. I've been doing programming. I was drafted onto the board during the pandemic, and everything was online, and that worked fine. But then as we moved closer and closer toward live meetings, my work is going to be problematic rather, because I'm 427 miles away from Manhattan, and I live in Buffalo. So we had a number of experts come through. At one point, lawyers, retired police detectives, a friend of mine who also writes mysteries. We've had a number of speakers about a variety of things over the last couple of years. But then we started doing Crimecraft discussions, which turned out to be more fun than I thought they would be. So I'm on the board until, I guess, December, when things end, and that's it'll be my second term, so I understand that I'm term limited, which I'm okay with, because some other things have been happening in our lives recently, and they've taken my attention. So, but I'm in for the Crimecraft experience, and basically, they're rap sessions for writers. I've been in writers groups most of my life, and I find that ironic that I'm doing writers chats now because, I've been retired 11 years, and probably 5 years before I retired, I said, I'm done with writers groups. I've been to so many. I'm just tired. But this is a little different, and it's more fun.
Excellent. And you have had some really fun discussions, very lively, very fun and provocative even, and always got me thinking. So thank you, Gary.
My better half will tell you I've never grown up, and that's part of my problem, which is why I made a milkshake that I'm drinking. So.
Hey, young at heart is good. So I'm going to call on David, who has taken over charge of our website. The screen just moved on me. Sorry, there you are, David. Go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you as a writer and what you're doing. There you are.
Oh, I'm kind of in a minority here because I do true crime. And I have written 2 true crime books, and I'm working on a 3rd one right now. They're all, for some strange reason, set in upstate New York, the capital region. The first one had to do with the murder that inspired the TV show Twin Peaks. And then the second one had to do with the corruption scandal in the Schenectady Police Department that led to the movie The Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper. And now I'm working on a 3rd one. So as far as the website goes, that has been a challenge for me because WordPress we've run into memory problems, and I know that I am behind on getting the author updates posted, but I'm working very hard on trying to fix that, and I will get those up soon, I'm sure. We had a memory problem, and then that we finally figured that out, but now there are other problems, and but I'm working on it. That's all I got. Nev?
No worries. Thank you for taking this on. It's not easy. Technology is constantly changing, and we may end up changing providers just to make it life easier for you and for all of us. So we're limited with what we have right now, but as soon as the mentor program closes, because we do use all our mailboxes, and I want to keep that mailbox until the program is ended, we may just move providers and just try to make life a little bit easier. I know there will be transition issues, so I'm going to ask everyone to bear with us. We just need a little bit more support and a little bit more flexible of a platform. So thank you for taking that on, David. And I know you also have been working on a new page for our site, which will showcase the board members a little bit and tell you a little bit about who they are. So when you send a message to, mentors at MWANY.com, .org, sorry, you need to know who is behind it, and you'll see Mark, and you'll see his picture and a little bit of his bio. That will just help people navigate so that you can interact with us and know who we are. So thank you, David, for taking that on, and we'll get it sorted. So let me see. I don't see Russ unless I'm missing him somehow. So I'm going to ask Al, do you want to say a few words? And there's Daniela, and I'll talk about how. Go ahead,
Well,
Al.
thanks,
Yeah. Mhm.
As Nev mentioned, I'm the immediate past president, and it's a tradition in the chapter for the immediate past president to be on hand to advise and support the current president. My advice, for what it's worth, is yours for the asking. I have two series as far as my writing goes. I have a very dark, hard-boiled series about a suburban prostitute, to be blunt, named Diana Andrews. She has appeared mostly in short stories. I also have a second series of police procedurals set on the Big Island of Hawaii, in which Pele's Prerogative will be the fifth novel, and it's coming out in June. Thanks.
Excellent. And we rely on you, Al, so thank you for being here too. Let me ask Daniela up, and then if I don't see Russ, I will talk about our Vice President, Hal Glatzer. So Daniela, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I've been a member of MWA since 2012. I'm also a member of International Thriller Writers and the Crime Writers Association. And I write a contemporary mystery series featuring a journalist and a jewel thief. It's called the Emmeline Kirby Gregory Longden Mystery Series, and they are a magnet for murder, intrigue, and espionage. And my books take place in the UK and Europe. Betrayed by the Truth is the most recent book 9 in my series. And I have the pleasure of being your library panel liaison for this term. And I relish this role because I love doing panel discussions myself. And I enjoy the exchange of ideas among authors and the interaction with the audience. And I think they're a wonderful opportunity for people who live and breathe books to discuss the creative process that leads to the engaging stories that we all crave. So I'm busy planning a lot of panel discussions. The first one we just had on March 21st at the Harlem Public Library. It was called Criminal Tendencies, What Makes a Quote Unquote Good Villain. Our upcoming panel discussion at the Morris County Library is actually this Saturday, April 20th at 11 a.m. It was actually arranged by my predecessor, Mally Becker, and our illustrious president, Nev, is going to be one of the panelists, and it's called It Was a Dark and Stormy Night, How and How Not to Start Your Novel. And another upcoming panel discussion is on May 22nd at the Maplewood Library, the Hilton branch. It's at 6:30 p.m. in the evening, and it's called Plotting Intrigue. And our fellow board member Russ will be the moderator. And it's going to be an exploration of, the panel will look into strategies to keep readers on the edge of their seats and how to draw from your imagination, real life events. And then after the panel discussion, there will be a Q&A as well as a networking opportunity for local authors. And then on October 26th, I'm working with Nev and Susan Hubbard at the Morristown Library in New Jersey. We're working on trying to arrange a panel discussion called The Road to Publication, which will feature an expert panel of an editor, a publisher, and an agent to get the book from the manuscript stage into readers' hands. So we're busily working on that. And I'm also trying to arrange with the Washington Heights Library, possibly in conjunction with a local school panel, or at least an author discussion on YA mysteries. And at the Hoboken Library in early November, I'm working with the librarian to arrange a panel discussion for National Novel Writing Month. Again, it'll be a panel that discusses the craft of writing. So those are the opportunities that we're looking that are coming up. And I've just posted in the chat the April 20th and May 22nd library panel discussions. You can find more information on the event on the website. So I look forward to working with everyone, chatting with everyone, and whoever has an idea, please feel free to contact me.
Wonderful. Oh, don't worry, folks. You don't have to memorize all these dates. She has put it, Danielle has put it in the chat, but we will also be putting out a lot of reminders. You'll get the e-blasts from MailChimp. Occasionally your emails do kick those out so do check your spam folders. And also we have a groups.io page, which if you're not on it yet, do ping me, send me a note at president@mwany.org, and I will be able to connect you. We have about 185 members on the groups.io page. So that's where we can pose questions. You can communicate back and forth. It's just a chat board. It's I'd like it to be more lively, like to be more inclusive. So feel free to comment there or ask questions there. And I mean, we have about 550 members in all. So having 185 on the chat group feels low to me. So feel free, if you're not on there already, feel free to join. Let me see, I don't see Russ. So I'm going to just tell you briefly that Russ Colchamiro is our comms team lead, communications lead, and has probably gotten pulled into a fire drill, as he sometimes does. He writes science fiction. I've heard him read, and it's always gripping. He has some fantastic female characters. I have to point that out. And he has been working with a couple of volunteers to get us onto Facebook, onto Instagram, and to try and communicate through our with our other social media as well. I'm not sure if we're on Twitter yet, but there was discussion around it. And I know Mark has been helping him with the Facebook page as well. So thank you.
Yes, and please, folks, there is a Facebook group as well as a Facebook page. So join the
Yes.
group, and anybody can just, interact and post and whatever you want to do on the Facebook group.
And share your events. If you're at a
Oh,
reading,
yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
doing something, we will echo it, we will amplify it. So yes, if you're a Facebook person, that's the place to go, is join that group and you'll automatically get updates. Wonderful. Yes, and Lori, I did see you. You are one of the panelists on our talk, our conversation that we're going to have, and I'm so looking forward to it. Mally Becker is our third, and we will be at Morris County on Saturday, if I got that right. Yes, so welcome, Lori.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Let me quickly share my screen so you can see what Hal looks like. So I have to tell you, folks, I am not very close to New York. I'm an hour and a half out by train, and it's a schlep. So here's Hal. I think you can see him. He is traveling back from Left Coast Crime today, and he told me what he would like me to read out. So, whoops, not there. I gotta find a good spot for this. Sorry, to be able to read it out to you. Okay. Chapter President, Vice President Hal Glatzer could not be with us tonight. He's flying back. He has been a member of MWA since his first novel was published in 1986. Okay, he's got me beat by many, many years. He's best known for his series set in the years just before World War II, whose accidental detective is working musician Katie Green. He has also written pastiche stories of Sherlock Holmes. By the way, I listened to one of these, which was turned into a not a radio play, but you know how it was performed. Let's put it that way. It was a lot of fun. So pastiche stories of Sherlock Holmes that are set authentically in Victorian and Edwardian times. His latest novel, however, is a contemporary cozy called The Nest that deliberately breaks some conventions of the cozy genre. Okay, now he's got me hooked. As chapter vice president, Hal will be hosting 5 more Manhattan mystery readings. Okay, folks, there are no more KGB readings. We have renamed them because we're not at KGB anymore. We are in 2 different libraries, and I put the information in the chat. So he will be hosting 5 this year. There was 1 already. So 5 more Manhattan mystery readings. They will be readings by chapter authors. Email him if you'd like to participate. And I'm going to actually go through all our mailboxes in a minute, so hold that thought. His address, the dates and locations of the upcoming readings are in the chat section, so I already posted that. Okay, let's stop this share. Hal is a great guy. He has been such a support to me because it is, like I said, a schlep for me to get out to Manhattan. But that said, I do want us to meet at least a couple of times. So I'm going to share some slides, show you some of the fun things we did last year, and hopefully excite you all to participate in as many of these as you can manage. Okay, I am getting my slides here ready to show. Share screen. Share the correct screen. That one. Okay. I think you can see it. Okay. So as some of you may know, I had a corporate background. So everything we did is in PowerPoint slides. And I have been torturing my group, my board members with some of these as well. So here are some of the fun things that we did last year. A lot of it was on Zoom, no surprise. But Al did put out a questionnaire, and we got quite a good number of responses, 120 right here. The big question was, would you like to see a return to live meetings? Overwhelmingly, you said yes. So to that point, we are trying to do more in-person things. And because we are such a large geography, we are breaking them up and doing a few things in New York and a few things in New Jersey. So last year we had a New Jersey gathering. Here's the bottom part is actually 2 sides of the room kind of put together. Think of this as a 360 view with writers, and we invited their significant others to come because it's Saturday. So if you're going to make time, you could go to the park after the talk, after the discussion. We had a good number of people come, volunteer information, suggestions. This is where some of our ideas for this year's get-togethers came from. And we plan to have a couple more of these, so stay tuned. We had a couple of things in Manhattan. I took a couple of photographs only. I should have taken more. This was our revels, although we did have a May get together at Slattery's. We had KGB readings. I just couldn't find enough photographs. We did a lot online. I'm going to encourage everyone to bookmark the YouTube channel, MWA NY, okay, -NY, because there are recordings of crime crafts in there, some of the other interesting speakers we've had. It goes back quite a ways. And it's a nice archive for you to look at the discussions. If you're looking at a specific topic you're interested in, or just curious, go browse. So I also want to share some information about our finances. Here's a summary of what we did last year. So our income for the year was just under 15,000, so 14,700. We spent a little bit more than that, maybe $1,000 more than that. We do have some funds in the kitty, so it's okay to spend a little bit more than you make. But where did the money come from? Your tickets, we subsidize the tickets quite a lot. So your ticket share came in for special events. We get a portion of your membership dues. For full paying members, we get about a quarter of the dues that you pay to National. And then the mentor program, there's a $25 fee from mentees. So that brings in a little bit. And then we had, I guess this is more of payments that were coming in just under a different subtotal. And what do we spend on? A few meetings, certainly. We have to pay for certain libraries. We may have to pay for reserving space someplace, or actually, occasionally, we'll bring in some snacks. All of that gets reimbursed to the board member who pays for it. The big ones are anything in New York is expensive. Anything in Manhattan. So certainly the May event and the December event are the bulk of our expenses. We did a little bit of advertising. I think this was just bookmarks perhaps, or some flyers that we printed. Very minimal other stuff, and website expenses, that is Zoom, MailChimp, and the website itself, the hosting platform. So that's, as you can see, low budget because most of the work is volunteers. It's done by volunteers. And I'm pleased to say that everything is accepted by National. We do report every single thing back to National because they have to be audited, and it's a 501c3 organization, so we have to keep good records. And we have a wonderful treasurer, Sheila, who keeps me informed on what I need to do. Okay, so this is our plan for the year. I like to start with what's our organization doing? What are our top level goals? And our chapter, the board brainstormed a little bit, and we really want to support members. This is our tribe. You are our tribe. So we are here to support members. And we also thought that it may be a good idea to move a little bit to growing our membership within newer upcoming writers, help younger writers, help people get published, and help them improve their craft. So these were the specific things that we came up with: improving craft skills, promoting members, just giving you a little bit opportunity to amplify, get your name out there, growing the business and industry knowledge because the industry is changing so much, and helping you connect because those partnerships really do, when you brainstorm, you get so much more excitement also, but also information and ideas. And meanwhile, when we're trying to grow our membership, we thought, well, upcoming writers certainly need, specific types of assets or resources. Some of the pieces that we're putting out in the newsletter, as well as on the groups.io, like BizBytes, are going to be in this area, and then just encouraging younger writers as well. So I went back to the board and said, well, how are we doing this? So let me see if the PowerPoint works. Ta-da, okay, it does. Some of our teams work across our goals. So the communications team works on everything that we do. The finance team keeps me aware of what I need to do and make sure that everything is kosher, clearly documented, and so on. We have member support, means your questions, if I can't figure out how to answer it, I will go back to MWA National with that question. Newsletter, e-blast, of course, support everything we do, and IT as well. Then we have crime crafts and library panels, which really focus on improving skills and giving you more, promoting your public persona, your public image, so that you can get a wider base of readers. Our events both in New Jersey and Manhattan, and I'm hoping we can have events elsewhere. So if you're in the Albany area, reach out to Gary, because there were a few people that wanted to meet. So maybe at some point we'll have an Albany get-together. And if you're in another far-flung area, I know Delaware is one that comes to mind. Let's maybe get a few people who want to meet in that area. I see you, Doug. I see you. So our mentor program is one of the older programs that we run. Is very well organized. I did it for a couple of years. I took over from Vija. She had it so well documented. I've transitioned it to Mark. He's up and running with it. It helps people improve their craft skills because you're getting very sound insights from someone who is already published, already been the route you're traveling. And also helps members connect because you may end up having a relationship with the person who's given you that critique. Meanwhile, we have book fairs and conferences. These are opportunities to meet other writers, gain craft knowledge, also pitch agents, pitch editors. So go to some of these. We have CrimeCon coming up in June. I'm going to give you a schedule, so don't worry about trying to memorize dates, but it's coming. Meanwhile, the Burstein Scholarship, is changing. Okay, I'm going to have a slide on it in a second. We are trying to rework this. The board voted to change the scholarship to the Burstein Award. And we hope that that format will last about 3 years, and then we'll reassess after that. And then a few of us have been doing high school talks. I know that Mark visited a couple of high schools. I did one as well. Just talk to younger writers and show them what the industry is like a little bit, but also encourage them. Ta-da! This is my announcement slide. We're actually doing pretty well on time, so maybe we won't have to talk so fast. We did discuss with Dan Burstein, who is supporting and sponsoring this award, how we can rework the scholarship. In past years, the scholarship has been meant for specific research activities. And the problem is you may not know exactly what those activities will cost or even what they are. So it's hard to predict so well what could be done. And during the pandemic, people weren't traveling much anyway. We did think that it might be a good idea to change this into an award. The details are being finalized, so stay tuned and you will hear more about this. It is tailored towards up-and-coming writers. So it is not focused on published writers. It is focused on unpublished or newer writers, perhaps. Here's my schedule. Everything we do is in Excel. Again, that business background that I have comes back. We are here in April, just tells me what to put on my calendar. I'll just go through quickly. We have board meetings roughly once a month. A couple of months we will skip if people are traveling. We have Zoom meetings that started and really picked up steam during the pandemic. We're keeping them going. They're once a month. They're typically on the first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. And occasionally there will be spotlight a writer or a topic, and there'll be a discussion on it. Gary comes with questions. He gets us quite engaged, and it's a lot of fun. The third column here is the Manhattan Mystery Readings, aka KGB readings that shall no longer be at KGB bar. So they're going to be at the Harlem Library or the 53rd Street Library in Manhattan. Typically 5 to 6, I want to say, people will read and then just have discussion or mingle. Feel free to connect with other readers and writers, people who come up to you. It's also a great place to practice delivering your reading so that you get in front of an audience. And I always enjoy meeting readers. We will have 2 gatherings in New Jersey. The Maplewood one is it is a library panel, but then there will be time afterwards to mingle and to meet each other. And then we will have this Road to Publication, which is going to be an expert panel. And thank you, Daniela, for working on that and setting that up. And we are hoping to have, very, very substantive, useful conversation there. CrimeCon is right here in bold. That's coming up in June. It's one day in the Ferguson Library in Connecticut. Drive up if you need to. I'm going to go the day before and stay in a hotel. Just, spend the whole day focused on learning and connecting and enjoying the other writers. We'll have some fun conversations there. Meanwhile, there is a potential for another one in the Hoboken Library in fall. Meanwhile, here we go. Revels is our big holiday bash, so do try to come. It always promises to be a fun event. We may change the location if I can get someone who can give us a better deal. I will look into that in a bit. And then we have book festivals, which we already spoke about. Beth gave us a little rundown of the 2 that are booked. There's a couple more we want to book, and I know Lori put something in the chat as well. Woo! That's a lot happening. So talk to us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what isn't convenient. Tell us what you want us to do more of. Here's how you can get in touch with us. In person, of course, on Facebook, groups.io, I mentioned it. If you get in here, just the site is www.groups.io. And then search for MWA NY. That's what comes up. If you do not have access, it will tell you email such and such email address and to get access. or then just email me, that's fine. Here's a little PowerPoint, actually turned into a PDF that I put up. It's called Biz Bites, and we'll be doing this a little bit more. Biz Bites are bite-sized chunks of business knowledge. So how do you prepare for a book reading? There's like 3 or 4 slides, really quick read. It's not even enough material for a half an hour presentation, actually. It's literally 3 slides, just quick things for you, a checklist, how to prepare, how to gather your material, so on. But that's the type of stuff I would like us to share. Business information in small chunks. Of course, our website, it will be improved shortly. We are space limited right now, and more than that, it's very restrictive the way that it is right now, but we will work on that. And then, of course, you have on YouTube, and I haven't even put up the new stuff that Russ is working on. So here's our mailboxes, how to get in touch with us. Every newsletter will have this at the bottom of the newsletter. So if you forget these, don't worry. Go to any last newsletter that you find on in your email mailbox, and you will find some of these email addresses. So that's how you can get in touch with us. And oh, wow, I am out of slides. So I'm going to open up for Q&A. Let's stop the share. Good. And close that. And I'm back. Okay. Thank you all for staying through that. I hope you're as excited as I am to see all the good stuff that's happening and try to participate in at least a little. You know, we were all busy with writing. Oh, here's Russ. Russ is joining. Okay.
Hey
Okay.
guys, sorry, having a little tech issues today. Just bear with me for a minute.
Okay, no problem. I will let you get situated, not a problem. I'm going to, Daniela, you want to just curate some of the Q&As? Was there something that I missed on the Q&A?
There aren't any questions. It's
Nothing yet? Okay. All
just
right.
the information that we've put in there, like that Beth put in there, I put in there, and then people who have said that they're leaving the chat. So-
Okay, that sounds fine. So when I read this really quickly, I saw Ask Edgar, and I was looking at it very quickly. I read Ask Edgar sounds terrified instead of sounds terrific. So Pamela, I apologize. It sounds terrific. Thank you. Edgar is not terrified. Okay,
All right.
let me ask. Okay, let's quickly scroll down. There's clarifications. Yes. Gary did put in a clarification. Long way from Albany. Sorry, Buffalo. I meant Buffalo. Why did I say Albany? I'm sorry.
That's
Thank you.
okay. I used to go to Albany for state university meetings. It's 285 miles from Buffalo. I know that.
No, please don't drive 285 miles. No, if you're in the Buffalo region, let's get that right, then contact Gary in that greater area. We do have a group getting together in Albany, which is why it was in my mind. So if you're in the Albany area, email me back or go into groups.io and respond. There's just a handful of people in that area, but those are some of our satellite areas. Delaware was one that potentially the South we could get together. I know there's a few Princeton writers, so y'all, if you want to get together, yeah. Hey, Delia. I was looking at you, girl. Okay, and let's see. Sorry, team. Yes. Would you repeat the various MWA NY contact information? Yes. For Facebook, IO groups, yes. So let me say the easiest way to do this is to look at your last newsletter, go down to the bottom of it, and you will see that there is an there's president@mwany.org. There is mentors all our email addresses are in there. For the Facebook group, go to Facebook and do a search on us, and I think it will allow you to join or ask to join, something like that. So Mark, keep an eye on people coming in and doing ask to join, because Mark is handling our mailbox. I think he had to leave. I know he was not feeling so
Yeah,
well.
I can talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to hand over to Russ in just 1 second. What was
Some
it?
better
Facebook?
lighting in here.
Yeah, Facebook and IO groups. Oh, yeah. So the groups.io is another portal for, a board. It's a notice board, basically. It's just a glorified notice board where you can chat and so on. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, but we find it very, very handy, very useful. And the reason is that you can pin things into threads. So go to www.groups.io, look for us, MWA NY. It's just do a search and then ask to join. If any of this feels too difficult, email me at president@mwany.org. So that is always a backup because I can, send you the link and just shortcut all of this. Okay, Russ, we are ready for you.
All right, sorry guys, I was a little late. I was in Virginia yesterday. So
Ooh.
and then I came home, my computer crashed. It was a whole big thing. Anyway, first off, thanks to Nev. You've done an absolutely incredible job starting off this year, keeping going. So kudos to you. You've really done really fantastic. Like no joke. You're really driving the you're driving the train here. So good. Just don't put us off the tracks. That's all I say. So in terms of what we're doing on the communications team, so what had happened is, just so you guys understand, last year it was me. That's it. So it was a little challenging. I did the best I could with the limited resources I had. Now we've got a couple of folks who are sort of backing me up a bit, and it's helping. We're still kind of getting our rhythm together. Life's been a little disruptive the first couple of months, but you're really going to see a lot more stuff happening in the second half of the year as we kind of get our ducks in a row. A couple of things I want to point out. First of all, Ned was talking about the Facebook page. Now, there's actually two Facebook settings that we're using, right? There's the MWA New York page, and then we started a New York group. I would encourage you to make sure that you're synced up with both of them. All right. Now, what's been typically or historically the way the page has been used has been nothing more than an online message board. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we're going to continue to do it, to post, hey, here's new events, things you might be aware of, and that's all well and good. But the goal ultimately is to have more interaction amongst all the members. It's a way for us just to chat with each other and share information. Now, what we can do on our side is activate the page, make things available to you, but you guys got to interact too, right? If your intention is to be passive, well, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. And this is sort of where it comes on a personal responsibility issue. If you want to get more out of the group and you want to get more out of the pages, then you personally have to do it, right? We can't make you do stuff. We can encourage you. We can make the opportunities available, but you're going to have to decide if you want to be a part of the conversation. We hope you do. That's why we're doing it, right? But I will encourage you to, if you're not synced up with the page, do so. And if you're not synced up with the group, do so. Just go on there, click the button, and you're good to go. And you'll be there. And that way we can tag you as well, right? And we can start to have conversations and share information. But again, I can't stress this enough. We can set it up. It's a classic, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You have to decide if you want to drink the water or not. It's up to you. If you do, great, we'll get more out of it. If you don't, we'll get less out of it. But just be aware it's there. And it's not there. And the idea isn't just, well, to be scolded. Well, you better be on the Facebook page. Whether you do or not is up to you, right? But the resource is there. If you don't take advantage of it, there's not much we could do about that. So that's on yours. We're doing our part. So if you want to get more out of it, I'll encourage you to do some of your part and just jump in on a conversation, post things, respond to stuff, ask questions. It doesn't matter if you've written 50 books, no books. It doesn't matter if it's your first day as a writer or your 50th year. It doesn't matter. We're all part of this community. Just dive in where you think your moments are. So I'll encourage you to do that. Secondly, last year, Gary and I kind of tag team on this, and some of you have participated and some have not. And we put together a program creating these author one sheets. And Gary and I spent a lot of time creating a template that anyone can create We send you the template and you can, and what it is, it's literally, it's one page. It's got your photo at the top of the page. It's got like a short, a hit list of who you are, some of your key titles. You can add images, you can add links, ISBN numbers, some quick reviews on there. And the reason that we do it is there are multiple uses. One, it's just a general use marketing flyer for you to use however you want. You can bring it to conventions. You can email it to your friends. You can post it on your website. You want to be submitted for a panel somewhere. You want to go appear at a convention. Hey, you want to know about me? Here you go, right? It's a nice cheat sheet. It's clean. It's easy. Two, Gary has been combining them basically in a mega folder and then submitting them to libraries throughout the US with the goal of having the libraries they say, oh, wow, you've got all these authors with all these books. Let's absorb some of those titles and put them on the shelves of our libraries. If you want to be part of that conversation, and I would assume that you do, I will encourage you to take part of it. Now, if you're not clear about what they are or how they've been used, I can tell you that I've been posting one author, one sheet per week on the Facebook page. And the reason we're doing one a week, we just call it the marketing flyer. We just call it an author one sheet. That's just what we call it. We tag them. The reason we do one a week is so that each member who gets highlighted gets the full week to themselves. That way you're not getting lost in the blur, right? Because we could do multiple a week, but then you get lost in the shuffle. And we didn't want that. You get a full week if it's just you. Two, the way we set it up was no one could jockey for position. You can't reserve a spot. Oh, my book is coming out in June, so I want mine to show up in June. You can't jockey for position. Board members did not get preferential treatment. I know that because I have the list in front of me. It was by an auto-generated selection process, right? So there was no favoritism whatsoever, to be completely fair and be completely equitable, right? We thought that was the fair way to do it. We have enough that are already created to post through the end of June. We're going to take a little break for the summer, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start again in the fall. What we're going to do is we sent out an email blast through the newsletter, I think it was last year, with all the specs. We're going to send out another one probably in the next month for anyone who maybe missed it or you forgot or didn't get around to it. It'll give you all the directions of what to do. And if you get it and you think, yeah, I think I might want to create one, but you still don't quite get it, you can email Gary candidly, because he's a little better on the tech side of it. I'm the idea guy, he's the spec guy. And we'll help you create them, right? And we'll create them into PNG files, which are the best way to do them because they have the multiple uses. And PNG, if you're not familiar with it, it's just a little bit different from a PDF or a JPEG. It just more platforms will more easily accept the PNG file. But in any case, that's neither here nor there. So I want you to be aware of them. And B, I want you to know why we're doing them and how we're using them. And three, that there's going to be a call for new ones. And again, however many we get, they'll be created and then they will be batch sorted randomly and you'll get a slot on a calendar and yours will appear. We had about 30, I can't remember, 30 or 35 the first batch around. Now remember, there's hundreds and hundreds of members. It doesn't matter if you're a new author, if you've been around for 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, it doesn't matter. These are for you, right? This is just another piece of collateral that you can use. And you might think, well, but I'm so new and I don't have enough to put out there. One, you don't have to do this. This is not mandatory. It's an option for you, okay? Second of all, if you're feeling insecure about it, a little shy about it, and you think you don't have the credentials, my position is don't worry about it because you got to start someplace, right? Hey, Joe Smith is a burgeoning writer who's had a couple of short stories published and is currently working on X, Y, and Z. Okay, great. You know what happens 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll update it and you'll have more titles on there. So again, you don't have to do this. It's certainly not mandatory. It's an option, but the purpose is to help all the individual members, A, individually, and B, collectively, right? So it's a resource for you, and I'll encourage you to take advantage of it. And lastly, because I know we're running a little short on time, if you have announcements that you want to make, if you have, it could be an event, it could be about a book that's coming out, it could be about a convention, a reading, it doesn't matter what it is, and you want help with some language, you want a marketing flyer created for it, that's what we do. All right. You can reach out to me directly, or I don't even remember what's the Nev, you've got the general email.
The mailboxes, yes. Yeah, so news at mwany.org or info would do it as well. It would go to Hal. But news.mwany.org will go to the communications team.
Sure. So you can send that. You could send it in, any request, and we'll do our best to help you out. Just again, this is about communicating. And I know it sounds most writers inherently believe I'm a writer, so I know how to communicate. I'm telling you, that's not true. Writers are typically the worst communicators on the face of the earth. Okay. They're terrible. Okay. No offense, but that's just the way it is. I've been working in the media for 30 years. I do this for a living. All right. Believe me, I know. We can help you polish things up, clarify. And again, it doesn't have to be a treatise, but if you just want some assistance, just understand there's a team here to help you, right? There are resources available for you. And just wrap up and just sort of broadly again, what we can do on the board is help, promote, enhance, change, and bring people together so that individually and collectively we can thrive. But we can only do what we can do. You have to participate. We can open up the door, but you have to walk through, and I'll encourage you to do it. And just the last, I keep saying the last thing, but I want to just reiterate what Nev has said, because she knows she's been hearing me talking about this for a long time. I am extremely passionate about assisting younger, newer authors, and newer, it doesn't matter the age. You could be a new author at 30 or 70, it doesn't matter. Whether you're a newer author or maybe you feel you're lesser known and you're not getting the love, you feel that you're being overshadowed, or it's just hard to break through the noise, or you feel insecure about it. Our goal is to help elevate newer authors by doing what? Supplying resources, as Ned was saying. There are workshops, there are skill set. Gary does a wonderful job with Crime Craft. There are things here for you, and the goal as the months go on is to see more of those be put out, because we need to grow, and we need to get, frankly, we need new blood. It's just the way of the world. You have to have new energy to come up. It's just the cycle of things, because there's always the danger in any organization getting stale and aging out. And that's not specific to our group. It's everywhere, right? So we need new blood. And I know the last couple of years were disruptive for everyone, and maybe you lost your momentum, you lost your mojo, things changed. We're rebuilding. When the live events come back, I will encourage you to come to as many of them as you can, because that'll give you that in-person mojo. And I think those will start knocking down the dominoes to activate some of these other more virtual things that we're doing. They all go hand in hand. I know sometimes time is a problem, or travel, finances, whatever it is, and that's understood. But where you can, I'll strongly encourage you to show up to a live event where you can, and I'll also encourage you to participate in the various programs, because like anything else, the more that you put into it, the more that you personally will get out of it, and that'll benefit us all. So anyway, that's my well, probably 4 cents.
Well said, Russ. Absolutely. We've talked about this a few times, and I'm, support everything that you are doing and the focus that you bring. Absolutely. We want folks to participate. We want you to enjoy yourself. We want to partner with you. So this is the reason why your board gets together every month and puts up all these programs. I know I did get more questions about those mailboxes. So I'm going to show the screen one more time if you want to take a print screen. But you know what? You don't have to, because I will send out these slides probably as a PDF, not as slides, in an upcoming newsletter. So you'll get it there as well. And all our last couple of newsletters, our monthly newsletters, have had the mailboxes there as well. I'm going to show this one more time because there were a few questions. If you have a question, an idea, a suggestion, now's the time. Either use your icons at the bottom and show me your hand, or if you want to put it in the chat, we can get kind of last call for questions, folks. Delia, you had a question? All right, I'm gonna stop the share. No, just taking a screenshot. Okay, no worries, that's fine. Just leave it up for another second or two. Take a photograph if you're on the phone and you squeeze the two sides of the two buttons on either side of an iPhone, it will take a photograph. Or then just hit print screen. That will also take it into buffer. Then you'll have to go to Word and do Control V or whatever and throw it down there. Or you can just wait for the newsletter. Marjorie, I think I saw your hand, but let me stop the share. Marjorie, question? Oh, you need to get off of mute.
No, my hands were just making a screenshot.
You take the screenshot. Okay, no worries. That's fine. Well,
Yeah, I have one question, and that
Okay.
is about the whole Facebook thing, because I had been on Facebook and I got so much, I can't stand it when my email gets full and all that. It drives me absolutely crazy. I couldn't follow it all. And I finally had to be on one, so I made up a whole thing and to get on Facebook, and that was not very nice either, you know, to join a group. So I guess I have to open a new account with them because I closed my account.
Great. So if you're on Facebook, then you can join. Otherwise, you'd have to open a new
I'll have to open a new
account. If
account.
you don't want to, then don't do that. Instead, just join the groups.io. And
That I know how to do, yeah. I think
yeah,
that's,
yes. So you know what, Doug, maybe we will do a quick little 3 steps to get onto group.io. Do that in the next newsletter, because what you can do there is decide whether you want to see every email that anyone puts into that thread, or you want to get something once a day, or you don't want to get them at all. You just want to save that on your bookmark it on your browser and just go to it when you feel like going to it. You can do all of those. It will not inundate your mailbox, but you have to set you have to set your preference. You have to tell it how much to communicate back with you, right? And the settings are very straightforward. So maybe we'll put that into an upcoming newsletter article.
yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. One thing I have learned, and I will make this my closing speech, is that being a writer means constantly improving one's craft, which means reading a lot, which I love anyway. But that also does mean that you have to market, and that's not a comfortable space for many people. So one of the things that we will do through the rest of the year and probably next year is help you with these little pieces of marketing. Having a one sheet is just 101. You have to have a one pager, which you can send to anybody who says, oh, you want to come talk to my school group or my library or my book club? Can you send me something about you? Boom, one pager, straight, one sheet goes to them. That's the purpose of it. Or somebody has a nice article out and you want them to interview you, or you want to contribute, here's something about me, boom, attach the one sheet and they know a little bit about you. It's a bio and about your book. Very useful marketing tool, but there are many. So we will gradually share quick ways of using these marketing tools. In fact, the MWA parent national website has tons of underutilized resources and library lists of bookstores, lists of all kinds of useful information that we don't use. So I would like in future months, newsletters as well as in talks, to share how to use the resources that you're paying for them. If you're here, you're a member, you're already paying for them. So use them. But it may be a little bit of help to know how to use them. So that's my closing speech. Thank you for coming. This is a fun group. I am enjoying working with this board so much. They're all wonderful professionals and really fun people. So thank you all. and,
Nev, no, we don't do fun here. We're not about,
no
we're
fun
not
for
about
you.
that.
Fun is overrated. What do we need fun for?
These guys crack me up. Anyways, lovely seeing you all. Do come to the events and have a wonderful rest of the day. I will close the meeting. Take care, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Night.
Bye.